Amico? No. What? Oh, what's happened here? The whole Amico. I didn't mention this the other day. I can't quite remember. I might have done. But the whole Amico, everything Amico wise on AtariAge has completely disappeared. Sorry, there is a problem. You do not have permission to view this content. Error code 2F173/H. What that means, whatever that means. Yeah. So everything Tommy wise has completely gone down the pan. Oh dear, what a shame. Oh dear, how sad. Never mind. But so we're going to get onto that. But just one odd thing. This is what's weird about YouTube, how it works. I make an Amico video and I get a lot of hits on those. Hey, I'm making another Amico video. But I then tried. Was this December 4th? That was Saturday. I tried a video about what's effectively looks like PlayStation trying to do an Xbox Game Pass, and it's called Codename Spartacus. And they even put a picture of Kirk Douglas as Spartacus on the thumbnail. Didn't make a jot of difference. I mean, it's like I don't know. What is it? Can anyone explain what it is about YouTube that will? I put the Amico stuff on. A lot of people find it via YouTube search, via videos get suggested. They come via Google and all that. Yet I put something on about the PlayStation, and it's just absolute crickets. Yeah, no one gives a toss. Why is it the system promotes one type of video, but doesn't promote another type of video? I mean, they're both about games. One's about something retro-y, shall we say, and this one is the PlayStation one's obviously now. Can anyone explain that? Anyone? Bueller? Please let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks. So it's come to this. I'm doing a reaction to a Pat the Northeast Punk video, but there aren't many people talking about the Amico, not in an honest way. There's one, some retro gamer's done a video that's been promoted by Tommy. I've not seen it yet. I might take a look at that. But they're reacting to the Astro Smash deep dive video. So I don't know. Me reacting to someone else's reacting to a video that I've already reacted to. Oh God! Fourth wall break within a fourth wall break. That's like 16 walls, as Deadpool says. But as Darius Truxton says, there's the only people talking about the Amico apart from me and him that's big. Obviously we're moderate size, bigger in one form, Pat and Ian, and they're talking about it. Apparently, Review Tech USA talks about it, but God, he talks about it sometimes, but his videos are just so bloody lazy. I can't be doing with it. I unsubscribed a long time ago from him after he said, let's give John Hancock another chance over the museum scam. Just horrible. So I've looked at a couple of minutes of this so far, and then I thought I'd just do a blind reaction to it going forward. So let's see what there is to see. Oh, and I've just had dinner as well, so apologies if there's any windy pops in here. Let's go. Amico! I've forgotten he was going to say that. It's been about an hour since I looked at it. But when you're listening to Ian, just have in your mind Chris Griffin from Family Guy. That's what he sounds like to me. I mean, RGT85 sounds like Chris Griffin as well. I mentioned that in a video before when he was skriking about Nintendo are coming after me, when they clearly bloody weren't at all. That's the biggest fake I've ever seen since the election. It's
Amico time. Oh, and it's a big week. Big week for the Intellivision.
Is it big week?
Big. Never gonna do it again live if you always press the button.
I haven't done it for a few weeks.
So AtariAge, that hallowed ground that we have once talked about positively and then negatively, and
it's a forum.
Maybe
it's a forum I frequent from time to time. I've not gone on it too regularly for a little while, and I like seeing all the retro games, all the Atari 2600 games, the new ones they make on there. But yeah, I've not not sort of got into it for a little while. Just I don't know, just probably just get busy doing a million other things. There's never enough hours in the day. Never enough hours in the day whatsoever. Let's just full screen this. Okay.
Maybe someday
It's a classic gaming forum.
It's a classic gaming forum. Classic gaming forum focusing on Atari, Intellivision, ColecoVision, like really that era
Coleco. Let's call the whole thing off.
of stuff.
There's
I'm sure-
there's an Atari game data.
I was gonna say the ColecoVision, as we called it. I think that's what we called it in the UK back in the 80s. But excuse me, windy pops. It was also the thing we called We Can't Afford It. That's why we had the Atari 2600, because our parents bought us that. That was around about 120 pounds, and maybe 130 pounds in the UK. And the Intellivision was at least, in fact, both the Intellivision and ColecoVision were at least 200 pounds. So they were completely out. And of course, if all your friends are buying, or if your friends' parents, if they're all getting Atari 2600. The parents all talk to each other. They'll all buy the same console. No one's gonna, it's like today, kids will all have a Switch. No one's gonna run out and go, oh God, I've got to get an Amico. It's never gonna happen. Whatever happens, and if you did, and you took it to school, or you told someone at school you had it, you'd never hear the end of it. Anyways,
Base.
There's probably some TI stuff in there, Texas Instruments. They had in a Intellivision Amico subforum that was famous among people who follow the Amico.
famous or infamous?
Because it had a thread initially called Tommy Tallarico Q&A, where he introduced like the Amico. It kind of became the fortress, the home base for
the Amico cult.
Amico fans.
Cult. The big cult. What a cult they are. So that's I'm borrowing a joke from a Bad News track. Maybe I'll try and remember to link to it. If you look at Bad News Double Entendre, Bad News is like a spoof rock group created by, it's a comic strip thing, which is most of the people from the Young Ones. So you got Rick Mail, Adrian Edmondson, Nigel Planer. So all three of those were from the Young Ones. And there's also Peter Richardson as the drummer, Tropical Spider Web with two B's. Peter Richardson was meant to originally be in the Young Ones, but for whatever reason he dropped out. I've forgotten now. And Christopher Ryan took his place. But there's two albums, Bad News and I think it's called Bad News Bootleg, which is the second one's just mostly talking. Some songs. There are a lot of songs on there. The first album. A lot of them are on YouTube as well, so they're worth checking out. And there's also, I think, the two videos or two comic strip productions. They're about half an hour, 45 minutes, something like that. And they are, one's called Bad News Tour, and the other's called More Bad News. Anyway, I'm waffling. Let's get on. I somehow made the Panda Sub 11-minute video. I made that into an hour almost. And this is 20 minutes. I don't really want to be here till, God knows how long doing it all. I just get the video done.
It was pie in the sky things that Tommy and other people said were rarely questioned in this forum. Mm-hmm. Dissent was not really accepted and resulted in lots of bans from the thread itself.
Of long time.
Bans from the thread? Oh, this never happened to the other fella.
Accepted and resulted in lots of bans from the thread itself.
Of longtime AtariAge members.
Longtime AtariAge members, some even being banned entirely from the site.
That's not happened to me. I'm still remember the site. I mean, there's a lot of good forums on there. It's just this whole Amico one just got completely out of bloody hand. It did become a kiss ass fest for Tommy. It was just horrible.
They always said that it was being run fairly, but if you look,
it wasn't.
It wasn't. It's easy to go back and look and see the situations. A lot of, I'm not saying all of the people banned did not deserve it, but a lot of the people who were banned were simply just asking uncomfortable questions of Tommy, and Tommy didn't like it.
Yeah, questions that he could never answer, like, when is the Amico coming out? How much will the Amico finally be? When will you give us some honest facts about the Amico? uncomfortable questions like that.
And then there was some collusion. I'm not saying there was any incentives, but the moderator, not Albert runs the site, but the moderator Jaybird Third had a heavy hand.
Oh yeah,
and it was almost like he was a part of Intellivision. That's what it seemed like. I'm not saying he was, but like he was doing Tommy's dirty work in that thread.
very clearly, and it was crazy to see how people can get trapped in a cult of personality because I'm not trying to. I don't know this person, but that Jaybird the Third was very anti Calico Chameleon. Yeah,
I've no idea who this Jaybird person is. I presumed it was Tommy who was kicking people out. Excuse me, I'm trying to deflect the coughing away. I don't know, maybe Tommy doesn't have that power. I just assumed he would have the power because it was his thread. And, alright, so maybe some other guy, so...
Yeah, during that whole Calico Chameleon thing, he was very much on the side of ours and other people who were like, this is never going to happen. This is clearly, not... Scam isn't the word I want to use because I feel like these people, as dumb as they are, did have some intent of trying to create a console that made them, famous.
I think, as I've said before, I think originally the intention was there to create a console. It's just then they realised that the controls don't work. It's all, they're trying to get the controller to do too much. As I said before, if it had been like around $150 like they said it was originally going to be, it would have been fine. Put out some games with it, but then they tried to overcomplicate things, reinvent the wheel, and it just ended up being an absolute mess. And they were never happy with what they were going to end up producing. So, people would have been happy, customers would have been happy with something fairly straightforward at a low price, but it was never, if it was half the price of the Switch, it would have been, and they'd got it out before, well, at least during the pandemic, it would have been a hit. It would have been a hit. And people say, oh, there's a chip shortage, there's a parts shortage. Well, no, the pandemic didn't come along until March 2020. That's when we had our first lockdown in the UK. Meanwhile, this is the Amico is based on 2016 mobile phone technology. So it could easily, you could have easily sourced all the parts you need long before the pandemic. So, and of course, as we know, they've not even bothered putting any games together. So it's just all a bunch of demos. So nothing gets beyond level 1. So yeah, it's a farce. And I think at that point where the price started going up and up and up, yeah, and then it gets cancelled and cancelled and cancelled, and it's like when it's cancelled the third time, this thing's a friggin' scam.
Chameleon.
I don't think any of these started out with the intent to scam money from people. I just don't. I think they're all ideas that got way out of control, and they don't know how to stop the problem. They don't know how to stop the house from burning. Yeah, it's crazy to see how someone like that who saw through the Amico,
the Amico what?
Jesus,
the Calico
Chameleon was bought in.
Amico, Calico. I suppose I'd make it the Amico. No, because it's got it's got an I in it. Amico. Yeah, could be Amico. Well, obviously Tommy calls it the Amico, so you have to call it the Amico. But no, we still call it the ColecoVision.
Into the Amico hook, line, and sinker.
So originally this giant thread, which would turn into hundreds of pages, and then Tom...
It was about 1,342, I think, by the time it finished. Crazy.
He posted on it near daily for a lot of the 2.5 years it's been there, or 2 years it was there. It became, like you said, a breeding ground for not just sycophantic behavior, but also like people saying, "Oh, I want this in the console, Tommy. I want this and that." And at first, it was his own thread. And then there was a subforum, and then it spawned out, and then it became the Amico Fun Conversations. You said in August. You told me
that started in August, which I still think is one of the most pathetic things I've ever seen.
Because you can no longer question the leader.
Oh, it made me feel bad, so we're going to change it to Fun Amico Conversations. It sounds like a fucking playroom for toddlers.
Well, it's clearly Intellivision's run by one. Yeah, Amico Conversations, or was it Amico? I don't know. Fun Amico, whatever it was. It's gone now anyway. But yeah, and so they don't like any signs of criticism whatsoever, which could just be why I was no longer a member of that thread. But yeah, I wasn't really missing much, quite frankly. There's an anti-Amico thread on Reddit, and there's an Amico thread official on Reddit. Guess which one gets the most comments? Exactly, the anti-Amico. Well, the honest Amico thread.
So the thread was also used to attack and libel me, to libel Ian, to make fun of our physical, how we are physically. People like Kevtris were libeled, and lies spread about them, and it was all allowed on AtariAge. And I pointed some of these things out to Albert, who ran the site, and he did take care of a few things, like a year and a half, like early 2020, when it really started to get worse for people attacking, at least Ian and me. That's when it really seemed like people got more desperate to start attacking us.
I just realised who Pat reminds me of. If you look up, it's a really good film called Talk Radio, directed by Oliver Stone, and it's got Eric Bogosian as a talk show host. Really good film. I don't know, Pat looks a bit like him. So if you look at the film Talk Radio by Oliver Stone, Eric Bogosian, there's a couple of other great roles he had. He was the baddie in Under Siege 2. Obviously, baddies don't survive a film. The film came out 26 years ago, so if I'm giving the way to the ending to a film which came out 26 years ago, if you haven't watched it by now, you're not going to. But you should do. But yeah, obviously he falls off the train. I won't say how, but then the train's rattled along so far along the tracks, long after he's left the train. But then when sort of many miles of track later on, Steven Seagal's climbing up a rope ladder to get onto a helicopter. Who grabs his foot at the last moment to try and get onto the ladder with him, or just try and pull him off the ladder? Yes, Eric Bogosian. Even though he's miles and miles and miles down the track. How did he get from where he fell off the track? And probably fell, I think they usually go over like sea half the time, so he'd probably have fallen into the sea. How did he get from there, or at least on the track, to miles and miles down the track to climb up to the rope ladder? Answer, as I saw on one forum at one point, he flew. Yeah, Eric Bogosian can fly. He was also played. What's his name? What's his character? Arlo? I can't remember. In Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler, which is an absolutely magnificent film, wonderful film. Along with Punch Drunk Love, it shows that Adam Sandler really should just do drama, or do a lot more drama than his crappy comedies. But yeah, Eric Bogosian was in that one. Bloody amazing films, all three of them. So yeah, that's who he reminds me of, Pat. Anyway.
For whatever reason.
So the same sort of accent as well.
Maybe because it looked like it at that point was turning to something bad. And plus, that's when they started taking pre-order money. It was March of 2020. And that's, I said at the time, that all bets were off then. We have to have more credit.
But it was January 2020 when the Founders Editions came out. I remember because I made a video about it. And yes, it was just before the pandemic started.
When you start taking money from people.
Yeah, once they go the crowdfunding route, and I don't care what Tommy wants to say, it's actually called this crowdfunding. Once they went the crowdfunding route, that's when I felt like, yeah, it was open season for making more comments.
Yes, especially if you're going to have outlandish claims that end up being lies and falsehoods.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That entire thread
and stolen artwork from other games
created things that thread created a narrative around the Amico that it never originally was. It was basically Amico by committee for the first, especially for the first 6 months to a year. You have things that people brought up that suddenly ended up being put as like official things that were going to happen in Amico.
And then I saw on the Intellivision_Amico subreddit someone pointed out that the Amico at some point also became like an anti-Pat and Ian console.
Oh well,
and some people
that's clear
as well, because it shows like a lot of the detractors, a lot of people that support us and prop this up, had histories with us.
Oh,
some
a certain author. I feel like a certain author's support.
Not just that, YouTubers.
Oh no, but I'm just saying
well.
a certain author's support of that system 100% seemed like it was a reactionary bit of nonsense too.
Is that Brett Weiss? I've heard his name. I've seen one or two of his videos. I know he's an author. I don't know whether that's the guy they're talking about though.
Could be
to us.
But the final point is this: it lasted far too long.
Pat the Northeast Spunk. That's obviously why I call him that.
But on Sunday the 5th, the entire subforum was wiped from existence.
Gone, donezo.
Way too late. It should have been done last year sometime, but better late than never. And I guess the question is at this point, why did this happen, right? Why did this happen? So we have
because they were completely and utterly sick of it.
The official responses of why this happened, then we have the unofficial responses. And the reason out there you think this it's just a subforum is that this subforum / the big Tommy Q&A thread, there's a lot of things that went down just in that thread. There's people use.
Yeah, I don't think we've mentioned it has millions of views and had how many posts?
I checked. There's hundreds of pages of posts.
Right.
So yeah, I think it was about 1,342 pages at the end of its lifespan, and each page had 25 posts. So let's just do a quick calculation. Let's say there was 1,350 because there may be approximately that. Times 25 posts, 33,750 posts. So yeah, almost 35,000 posts. Madness.
It was. I mean, it became, like I said, the home base for Amico, more so than any Reddit, more so than a Facebook page. This was the central ground zero gathering place for Amico news.
A lot of the stuff that Tommy first revealed about the console was said on that forum,
which is just madness. You don't tell the investors, you don't tell people who pre-ordered it. You just tell some randoms on a forum thread somewhere. Sometimes, what's his name? OEB Pete would claim to be given inside information by Tommy and say, "Oh, I can't tell you what he's told me something, but I can't tell you what it is." Either he did, and to Tommy's prioritizing, YouTubers with 2,000 subscribers with information that he's not even giving to investors. That's just weird. It's just none of that makes sense whatsoever.
Things he tried to say, although I didn't mean, I just posted on.
Oh, sorry, I was going to say he either does that or OEB Pete was just lying. And the same with DJC says, Tommy told me something, but I can't tell you about it. He promised, he swore me to secrecy, so maybe he's not told you anything at all.
Revealed about the console was said on that forum, or things he tried to say, although I didn't mean, I just posted on the forum. A lot of the first ideas or hell, even like anti-Pat and Ian videos were posted and shared on that thread. Like things like it became this like one stop for Intellivision and Amico cultists. People that are interested, but also cultists, and also people that should not be should be allowed to operate heavy machinery.
That's because not be allowed to breathe the same oxygen as the rest of us. Some of those Amico cult members, yeah. Anyway,
we'll just say that. So you want to go by the unofficial response first, or what? We'll go by what happened first. With what happened to the Amico forum was posted by someone after it was wiped by 6502 Wrangler. What happened to the Amico forum? It appears to be gone. I just saw Tommy Tallarico's final post inviting people to the Amico Facebook group. Maybe that was against policy. If this isn't a glitch, why nuke them rather than lock them? Albert, who owns the site, responded, "I have removed the Amico forum. A new Amico forum will return if and when the Amico is actually released,
which will never happen.
Starts arriving in customers' hands. I'd already considered removing the forum for various reasons, but Tommy's 2 posts tonight just cemented the decision." I don't see the posts. I don't have records of the 2 posts that he removed. Not only because he made these posts to promote his Facebook group, but also stating no ding-a-lings allowed. Ding-a-ling, a nice way of saying dicks. While stating in one of those posts, it's best to try to keep the drama out of AtariAge.
Drama.
Then he put a little emoji of hand hitting the head like, oh, geez. And this is after he previously proclaimed that publicly he would no longer be posting on AtariAge, which I was perfectly fine with. Well, there won't be any more drama about the Amico on AtariAge for the time being, so he was right about that. Al. So basically, Tommy was trying to promote, he has this now insular private Amico Facebook group. This is
which I'm not part of. I feel like I'm missing out so much.
this is as close to us circling the wagons as you can get. When you're in your own private
Circling the wagons sounds more like circling the drain for the Amico.
Facebook group and posting to your own little audience.
Apparently, it's not. It's apparently anyone can look at it and see. It's not. I mean, you have to join.
You have to join.
Right, but
If I try to join it, they'll see my name and say no. Likely. You know what I mean?
Same with me.
Well, I'm just what I'm saying is they're not vetting it for the most part. Anyone can join it. But still, yes, it's still a private Facebook group. It's not out in the open. It definitely seems like this is like a last stand.
It's a last stand.
Yeah.
That said, I managed to join the Metal Jesus Rocks Facebook group page without having to hide who I was. Not that I've posted there under that name, but still managed to join it. And he blocked me from his silly YouTube channel. Oh, and of course, Metal Jesus Rocks issues false copyright strikes.
It seems like this is like a last stand.
It's a last stand.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that it took this long to get to this point, but it did. It did. And if it wasn't for this, I'm not saying things would have been radically different if it wasn't for this thread existing, but my life would have been easier a little bit. Ian's life would have been probably easier slightly because it allowed this fomenting of these bad actors that try to attack any reasonable critic. Not just Ian.
Yeah, but when you got freaks like on that thread who just try to criticize you, just ignore them. Just ignore them. Not worth the time of day. There's too many oddballs out there. Just ignore them. It's that straightforward.
Ian and me, other people. And without this breeding ground, I don't think he would have had that nearly as much. I don't think he would have had it. I would this like echo chamber of attacking.
But they probably got rid of it just to avoid being sued, because that's how it could have ended up for AtariAge, and they don't want to get sued, so it's just easier to, when you got a thread that's just a long thread that's just getting out of hand, just get rid.
People.
Right.
It got out of hand. I pointed it out. I was ignored. But what are you going to do? So
it's like he's saying the same words I'm saying a minute earlier, or a second or two earlier.
Tommy posted after it was wiped. Tommy put out a statement to try to spin the narrative here. This is what he posted on Facebook. Ready? I'll try to do it in my Tommy voice, but I'm not. It'll make me sick. Yo, friends from AtariAge. Just want to let you know that Albert and I were planning on shutting down the Amico Fun conversation.
You lie, Tommy. You sit on a throne of lies. In fact, his hair lies, because you can see from the picture in the middle there, he's got some grey streaks there. Yet when he was on the vlog, or whatever it was, the so-called interview with Slopes Games Room, his hair was jet black there, so he's obviously been on the Grecian 2000.
Thread months ago when the Amico forum was moved to new consoles from the original Intellivision area. But he decided to keep it open while we started building up this group and moving interested folks over to here.
Can he ever not spin anything?
Tommy Tallarico is just the biggest bullshitter in the world. He's operating a big scam, and it's full of bullshit. If you got your money in it whatsoever, however you got your money in it, whether it's a pre-order or whether it's invested, for the love of all that is holy, get your money out.
My original thread was getting too big and massive. About 1.5 million views in caps.
Bigger than Tommy's ego.
Cannot miss an opportunity to brag.
Pretty amazing. Not only was it getting too big, as he preferred people to make separate threads for each topic, which totally makes sense, but the thread was also attracting a lot of unwanted drama from the bad hombres and concerned trollers.
If you have a separate thread about every separate thing, you'll get people starting new threads saying, "Hey Tommy, what about this particular game? Why not have Dragon's Lair on the Amico?" Oh yeah, I haven't said we're not talking to Don Bluth, but yeah, we could be talking to Don Bluth. Now I'll just have a quick check online. Is Don Bluth still alive? Yes, he is. So it is possible that they've been talking to Don Bluth. He's 84. Even though I just completely made up any sort of Dragon's Den. But the whole point is that, yeah, they could have had a million threads, just every single one speculation about a game coming out for the Amico, just because someone mentions it, and then Tommy goes, yeah, it could happen. We could be talking to Disney.
Bad hombres. What are you, fucking 70? This wasn't fair to AtariAge, Albert, and all the mods who constantly had to monitor the place because of drama and, in quotes, jerks. AtariAge.
Yeah, this is why I don't bother with a forum on my my website. There's comments on every page on my website. There's comment sections on there. But if someone starts, being a twat, basically, I can easily just get rid of them. Although a lot of the comments lately have largely been just that I've had to get rid of have largely just been spammers trying to advertise strange things on there. Just earn $10 an hour by doing this, and yeah, I've just blocked. But they've always had a link in them, so I've just blocked any comments on there which have any links on them. So that just quickly sorts them all out.
Ended up shutting down the entire Amico area and will more than likely start a new area section when Amico finally, in caps, comes out. He actually has put finally. Anyway, just wanted to give you some context to anyone who may have come from AtariAge to this group and noticed that my Amico Fun Conversations thread was closed and the Amico area is gone. Thanks. Let me know if you have any questions about AtariAge and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. So, what do you think Pat did? I put on my Hearn Burford out of control news hat, and I talked to Albert. I talked to the source, and I asked some questions about this post. As I put on my newsman hat sometimes.
What's Albert say?
All right. Hi, Albert. Was there any truth to any of what Tommy said on Facebook, saying you both were planning to shut down the Amico Fun Conversations thread, or was he making that up? Albert responds, yeah, no, I've only spoken to Tommy once in all of 2021 regarding the Amico forum, and that's when I wrote him in August and told him I was likely going to nuke the Amico forum as I was tired of the shit. I most certainly never agreed to shut down the Amico Fun thread, although he did suggest it. I ignored that. I just looked at the conversation again to verify I didn't say anything even close to that. I did suggest he create his own forum, and it looks like that may have been the impetus for creating the Facebook group he's been promoting. So there you go. So he didn't agree to anything like that. It was a lie. Tommy lies again.
Yeah.
Tommy lies? Well, I never. I'm going to go to the foot of my stairs.
Lies, lies, lies.
People always ask for us to point.
Lies, 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 yeah. They're going to get you. I could say something about the British Prime Minister, but I won't.
Lie. Tommy lies again.
Yeah.
Lies, lies, lies.
People always ask for us to point to that sort of stuff here. Right here. Forum owner. Tommy lied.
Lies.
And this is funny too, because Tommy acts like the way he writes makes it sound like he was chum in contact with Albert all the time. It's how he does every.
And yet they had like one conversation.
It's how he talks about every single relationship or acquaintance he has. Miyamoto, everyone. He has to be mentioned in the same. People. He needs to have people think that he's associated with interesting people.
There can't be.
Yeah, he's only associated in that they just want him to stop talking about him, just in the same breath, and they just wish he'd go away.
He can't think that anyone has anything negative to think about him.
Right.
Like you can't do that. You can't. So then I asked, was this the final straw?
So Tommy's a narcissist, basically.
Or was there something else that occurred? He said, I'm not even sure why he said that, except to make it sound like we recorded any crap regarding the Amico forum, which certainly was never the case. And for the record, not I nor anyone else associated with AtariAge has ever received any compensation from Intellivision Entertainment or Tommy regarding that forum, nor was any offered or asked. In hindsight, I should have removed the forum when I initially threatened to. I thought locking that fun thread and then the other general threads would calm things down, which it did a bit. Tommy reported a post by some user, blah, 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 and that he would no longer be posting on AtariAge. Then yesterday responded to a comment in the all pre-orders VIP thread and then started a completely new topic to promote his Facebook group. That's what pushed me over the edge to finally pull the trigger. Someone naturally started a topic asking what happened, which we went over.
Yeah.
Then I asked, for the record, do you think the sub forum wasn't a good idea to begin with, or just become its own monster? And what was the thought behind deleting everything versus just locking it down?
Monster, definitely. Obviously, you want to get rid of it just so no one sues them.
Do you think it would be less drama not to have old threads accessible? He said, Albert says, I think it was absolutely fine to create the forum. At the time, it was a new console that looked pretty interesting. And obviously the ties to Intellivision have direct relevance to AtariAge. We have a very active Intellivision forum. In hindsight, certainly it should have been
It was a dumpster fire.
moderated better, and I take responsibility for that, especially given the lightning rod that Tommy is. As for deleting everything,
Sticks a lightning rod up his own butt.
well, it's just hidden from everyone. It's not deleted at this point. It's possible I will again make it visible again in a read-only mode
Very unlikely.
when I create a new Amico forum when the console comes out.
What would be the point in bringing it back if it was just a circle jerk for all the Amico users? Or the cult? There's no point bringing it back whatsoever. They'll just move on somewhere else, perhaps to this Facebook group, and they'll just shit all over that, and they'll just spunk all over each other over there. Maybe shit on it. I'm not even going to go down there. I'm not going to go down that route.
Assuming that happens at some point so people can reference the old threads. And I finally asked, do you feel Tommy was allowed more leeway to act against the forum's rules versus a typical poster? Also, is Jaybird Third still a mod? It looks like he hasn't posted since August. He responds, that's hard to say. I wasn't paying as close attention to the Amico forum as I would have liked, but in hindsight, I certainly would have watched over that forum more closely, and in particular paid more attention to Tommy's posts. I know we did warn him to stop bringing outside drama to the forum, and that he would be better served focusing on the Amico instead of his detractors.
Tommy just encourages drama.
Even at the very end, he couldn't restrain himself from saying twice, saying no dinglings allowed, which was completely unnecessary. While Tommy is obviously enthusiastic about the Amico, he's not a Grace spokesperson. And he says Jaybird Third is still a moderator, but he's pretty busy with his job and personal life right now, so he's not active at the moment. Maybe that's being political. Maybe Jaybird the Third has been given a timeout by Albert. I'm not going to totally speculate, but that person...
He stops posting around the time that... around the time that the threat...
Is it early in the morning for Ian? He had about an hour's sleep or something, and he's got to have a bit of a stretch. It's probably just coming up to 11s or something.
I'd change names from Q&A. So
this is what I'm going to say.
I'm not going to... Yeah, whatever.
I'll trust Albert, but it was pointed out Tommy's bad behavior, that if he was a regular poster, would not have gotten away of making fun of our physical appearances.
Oh, sure.
Calling like Pat the Punk and the long-haired dude and other derogatory statements. I didn't see a lot of them. I just early on pointed out, like, this is bullshit. You can't be using this forum.
What's wrong with Pat the Punk and the long-haired dude? How is that? How are those derogatory?
Q&A thread to personally attack not just me and Ian, but other critics, and he's attacked other people as well. So, like, you can't allow that. It makes your site look bad. It makes your site look like it has no integrity. Your forum. And it makes it look like, like what the hell's going on? And
that's why they just got rid of the whole thing. Why bother going through 35,000 posts or whatever it was to wheedle out one or two libelous ones? Just nuke the whole thing from orbit.
And from what I hear, a lot of longtime members stopped frequenting the site, or paying subscribers they let their subscriptions lapse because of this. Maybe that's part of the reason as well.
What, can you actually pay to be part of a AtariAge?
Your forum, and it makes it look like, like what the hell's going on? And from what I hear, a lot of longtime members stopped frequenting the site, or paying subscribers they let their subscriptions lapse because of this. Maybe that's part of the reason as well.
Yeah. To
finally do it. And this is what I'm going to say about the association to the original television. There is no fucking association to the original television. It's
like the original Atari, or nothing. The people who've made the Atari VCS, pardon me, more windy pops. There's nothing other than the name that links it back to the original Atari. So it's just, at least, they did put something out, even if it was basically a doorstop, a half-ass PC in a small box, and way overpriced. If it was about £100, it might be worth it. But then again, I wouldn't bother buying it. I wouldn't, unless, well, maybe worth it just to have it for the shell. But I certainly wouldn't use it long term. That's for sure. Maybe when they're £20 on game, like with the Ouya, and that's when I'll buy one.
To the original television, there is no fucking association to the original television. It says it in the fucking SEC filings on Republic that this company has no connection to the original Mattel and their production of the Intellivision. It says that in a government filing.
except that the Amico cult don't concern themselves with such issues.
It
Right.
says that. So I don't know what else to say about it.
Must be serious. He's going to take a sip of water.
It was ridiculous that it went on that long. Ridiculous. So is this a beginning of another sort of end to this project? I don't know, but at least the wind's been taken out of the sails. There's one YouTuber that covered this console a lot, had hundreds of videos covering it, and privated all their videos recently.
Yeah.
OEB Pete. So yeah, I mentioned this in the last video. Did he delete a load of his Amico videos? Maybe he did private them. If you make them private, then the watch time and the views no longer count. Although the YouTube only worries about watch time, anything towards the 4,000 watch hours that you need for monetization. Which I mean, OEB Pete will have that in spades anyway. But if you private anything or delete anything that's within the last 12 months, then they'll just sort of look as if they've deleted from the websites. Yeah, if they've only been privated, they'll look as if they've been deleted. So that could have been what happened. They could still be there, but he's just deleted them. It's probably, to be fair, it's probably best to private them rather than delete them, because that always gives you the option to bring them back later on. But yeah, if just having those videos just made him look like a complete arse, so probably best if he just hides them to make himself not look like an arse. And that's why he's changed the name from OEB Pete to Classic Gaming Bum Fund, or Classic Gaming, whatever it is. You get the idea.
Yeah.
So maybe now at this point it's gone too far for a lot of people.
Basically, the people that we said would be canaries, I think, are starting to canary. They're starting to die.
They're dead.
Yeah,
they're in the
starting
coal
to
lines
die.
and they're dead.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Canaries?
Yeah, without mentioning that person's name, because I just don't want to bring any undue attention
OEB Pete?
to a lot of the people who cover the Amico. They don't like me, but I don't feel anything negative about them. This has all been Tommy for me.
I feel negative about the ones that are personally
Well,
attacked
I
us.
feel negative about some of them, but frankly, I have other things to worry about.
Sure.
But yeah, when that guy privated all those videos, I mean, that was one of your biggest, and granted, he has been more quiet over the past 6 months. I think he started to realize shit was maybe not looking so good. But
Apart from that in production video, which is just bafflingly cringe. It was just pathetic.
But yeah, when all those videos go private, when your home base kicks you out the front door,
We'll see.
Yeah, when Pete realised that OEB Pete realised that Tommy doesn't love him anymore. There's no love anymore. Tommy's moving on. DJC will be sad, even though he wants his Amico. You're not getting your Amico. Hey, I might write a song. I want my Amico. Yeah.
Remember, Q1 2022.
when you got some of your spokesmen coming out and being like, oh, they're not actually being manufactured, like,
Yeah.
No. Especially someone, I think I mentioned this before, someone on Reddit said how early on in the start of the year, we get the Chinese New Year, so that's completely going to put the kibosh on any production within China anyway. So nothing's been made. Whatever in production means, nothing is being made.
I feel like
In production doesn't mean manufactured.
we are at the point where writing is really on the wall. Just in terms of financial quarters. I mean,
It will be gone in I say January, February 2022. Tommy will wind this whole thing down. He'll get as much money as he can up till Christmas, and then he'll just have ensured that he can put his house and his Ferrari in someone else's name, so that when he comes time to file for bankruptcy, then he'll be the money will be gone into a Swiss bank account, and he'll be untouchable. He'll have disappeared to some island, wherever they go. If you've got a Swiss bank account, whichever island you go to, and he'll be gone, and all the money will be gone with him, and everyone will be fucked if they've still got money involved. That's why I'm glad I got my money out. So for my pre-order, of the Founders Edition. You're not getting your Amico, so just get your money out. Tommy will be rich out of this, and he'll be long gone. Long gone.
The financial year ends in March with nothing for the investors. You can only string it on for so long.
Yeah, and again, for this to come out,
and this has been slow. This has been slow as it is. Like,
actually, yeah, but maybe March will end. Sometime between January, February, and March. Yeah, because by then you come to the end of the financial year.
I feel like if this was anything else, we would have been done with this over the summer.
For this to come out by end of March, you didn't need it in production now. End of March is only 4 months away.
With Chinese New Year and
Chinese New Year, take 2 or 3 weeks
Lunar
out of
New
production.
Year. Yeah, you're
so like this has to be in production now.
And especially with the new Omicron variant, that could put the kibosh on things even more.
Ow. So whenever you're looking at the timeline when this console can come out to people, you got to look at, okay, 4 months from now, if it's getting shipped over from China or somewhere in Asia, it's 4 months from today if it's not in production. That's your time frame, and that's if it doesn't get stuck on a boat. Like the Evercade Versus getting stuck and can't get, it's on a boat and it can't even get to the inside the port to get off.
Sure. Better hope those controllers don't have any faulty batteries either.
Yes. If you think
if you hope they've got batteries at all.
The Playdate, which is put together by a real company, Teenage Engineering, they put it, and they had an issue from a hardware manufacturing standpoint. You don't think these issues can happen to a company like Intellivision Entertainment? They can't have something like bad happen in the process.
Well, nothing ever happens to Tommy. It's Tommy Tallarico. He can't lose.
He can't lose.
He can't lose.
He's got
Parker Lewis can't lose.
the secret. He can't lose.
People actually fucking said that to us.
No, Parker Lewis can't lose.
Can't lose.
Tommy Tallarico can't lose.
Can't.
He won't lose because, as I say, he'll funnel all his money into a Swiss bank account, and everyone who's got money involved in all this and invested, they'll be fucked.
It's not how the world works.
No one's invincible.
Except Tommy Tallarico. Well, there we go. What are your thoughts on the Amico at the moment? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. In the meantime, please like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe if you haven't already, click on the bell for all notifications. I'm going to go for a lie down and see how long this video is, and cue Genesis.